Imagine two men. One owns a mansion, several luxury cars, expensive watches, and more money than he could spend in a lifetime. Yet every morning he wakes up anxious. He checks the markets before checking on his family. He compares himself to billionaires and fears losing everything he has. The second man lives in a modest home. He earns enough to support his family, saves consistently, sleeps peacefully, and greets every sunrise with gratitude. He desires improvement, but isn't enslaved by endless craving. Now ask yourself, who is truly rich? Over 2,000 years ago, Seneca answered this question with one unforgettable sentence. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. At first glance, these words seem to reject ambition, but they don't. Seneca wasn't condemning wealth. He was exposing slavery, the slavery of endless wanting. Today, we live in a world designed to make us feel insufficient. Every advertisement whispers that happiness is one purchase away. Social media convinces us someone else is living the life we deserve. Success becomes a moving target that no one ever reaches. Stoicism offers a different path. It teaches that freedom begins the moment your desires stop controlling your peace. This isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming impossible to manipulate. In today's video, we'll explore why wanting more can become the greatest form of poverty and how mastering your desires can make you wealthier than many millionaires. Let's begin. Part 1. The greatest illusion about wealth. Society teaches a dangerous equation. More money equals more happiness. More possessions equal more success. More status equals more respect. Yet history repeatedly proves otherwise. Kings feared betrayal. Emperors feared assassination. Billionaires fear losing their fortunes. Celebrities fear becoming irrelevant. The amount changes. The fear remains. Seneca observed Rome's richest citizens closely. They owned villas overlooking the Mediterranean. They hosted lavish banquets. They wore garments woven with gold. Yet many couldn't sleep. They worried constantly about rivals, politics, inheritance, reputation, and the next acquisition. Externally rich, internally poor, because poverty isn't always empty pockets. Sometimes it's an empty soul. Stoicism asks a radical question. What if wealth isn't measured by what enters your bank account, but by how little controls your happiness? When your peace depends on acquiring the next thing, you're no longer free. You're employed by desire, and desire never retires. Every achievement creates another goal. Every purchase creates another craving. Every promotion creates another comparison. This is the treadmill most people mistake for success. They run faster every year, yet never arrive. Seneca invites us to step off, not because effort is bad, but because endless dissatisfaction is. The Stoic doesn't reject progress. He rejects becoming emotionally dependent on progress. Because the moment your happiness depends on what you don't yet possess, you've already become poor. Part 2. Desire has no finish line. Think back to something you desperately wanted 5 years ago. Perhaps it was your first car, a better job, a certain income, a relationship, a house. Remember how convinced you were that obtaining it would change everything? Now ask yourself, did it? Maybe for a while, but eventually it became normal. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. Stoics discovered it centuries earlier. Human beings quickly adjust to improvements. Luxury becomes ordinary. Comfort becomes expected. Success becomes the new baseline. Then desire whispers again. You need more. More money, more followers, more recognition, more luxury, more validation. The problem isn't wanting improvement. The problem is believing satisfaction always lives one step ahead. Imagine chasing the horizon. No matter how far you walk, it moves farther away. This is what uncontrolled desire feels like. You become permanently dissatisfied. Not because life lacks blessings, but because your attention remains fixed on what you don't have. Seneca reminds us that desire expands faster than income. That's why some people earning millions still feel broke. They upgraded their lifestyle, but never upgraded their mind. True wealth begins when gratitude grows faster than ambition. Ambition builds your future. Gratitude allows you to enjoy the present. Without both, Success becomes another prison. Part 2. Desire has no finish. There is a quiet trap hidden inside every achievement. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't appear as failure. In fact, it often arrives disguised as success. You finally reach the income you dreamed about. You buy the car you promised yourself. You move into the house you've always imagined. For a brief moment you feel victorious. Life seems complete. Then something changes. The excitement fades. What once felt extraordinary becomes ordinary. Your attention shifts to someone who has a bigger house, a newer car, a higher salary, or greater influence. Suddenly, what once made you grateful no longer feels enough. This is the endless cycle Seneca warned us about. He understood that desire has no natural limit. If left unchecked, it grows faster than our ability to satisfy it. Imagine drinking salt water while lost at sea. Every sip feels like relief for a moment, but it only makes your thirst worse. Endless desire works the same way. The more you feed it without wisdom, the stronger it becomes. Modern society depends on this cycle. Every advertisement tells you that happiness is one purchase away. Every scroll through social media introduces another reason to feel behind. Every comparison convinces you that someone else's life is better than yours. But Stoicism asks a different question. Instead of asking, "What more can I get?" ask, "What already exists in my life that I have forgotten to appreciate?" That single question changes everything. Gratitude does not eliminate ambition. It gives ambition a healthy foundation. A grateful person can still work hard, build businesses, pursue excellence, and increase wealth. The difference is that they are no longer emotionally dependent on the outcome. They work from abundance, not desperation. Seneca himself was one of the wealthiest men in Rome. He was not preaching poverty. He was teaching mastery. He believed wealth was a useful servant, but a terrible master. If your possessions can determine your mood, they own you. If losing money destroys your identity, you never truly possessed that money. It possessed you. The Stoic learns to enjoy comfort without becoming addicted to comfort. He can live in abundance without fearing simplicity. This is why Stoics sometimes practiced voluntary discomfort. Seneca would occasionally wear plain clothes, eat simple food, and sleep on the floor, not because he had to, but because he wanted to remind himself that his happiness did not depend on luxury. He asked himself, "Is this what I feared?" The answer was almost always no. That practice gave him confidence. If fortune disappeared tomorrow, his peace would remain. Can the same be said for us? Many people spend years increasing their income but never strengthen their character. They become wealthier financially and poorer emotionally. Their standard of living rises, but so does their anxiety. Stoicism offers another path. Increase your income if you can. Build your business. Develop your skills. Save and invest wisely. But never let your desires grow faster than your wisdom, because the richest person in the room is often not the one who earns the most. It is the one who needs the least to feel complete. Conclusion: the richest life is the simplest mind. As we come to the end of this journey, return once more to Seneca's powerful words. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. These words challenge nearly everything the modern world teaches us. We are told to chase more money, more possessions, more status, more recognition, more followers, more approval. Yet history is filled with people who obtained all these things and still lived in fear, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. Why? Because the problem was never outside them. It was within them. The Stoic understands that wealth is not measured by what sits in your bank account, but by the freedom you possess inside your mind. A man who controls his desires cannot be manipulated by advertisements. He cannot be intimidated by the success of others. He cannot be broken by temporary setbacks. He knows that fortune comes and goes, but character remains. This mindset does not make you passive. It makes you powerful. It allows you to build wealth without worshipping it, to pursue excellence without sacrificing your peace, to enjoy success without becoming addicted to it, to lose possessions without losing yourself. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the same goals you have today, but without anxiety. Imagine working hard because you love growth, not because you fear being left behind. Imagine looking at someone else's success and feeling inspired, instead of envious. Imagine being able to lose everything material and still know that the most valuable thing you own, your character, cannot be taken away. That is the freedom Stoicism offers. That is the wealth Seneca described. So continue to build, continue to learn, continue to earn, but never forget that the greatest investment you will ever make is in your own mind. Because fortunes rise and fall, markets crash, careers change, fame fades. But the person who has learned to master desire carries an inexhaustible treasure wherever they go. If this lesson resonated with you, remember this one sentence every morning before you begin your day. I will pursue more, but I will not need more to be at peace. That is the Stoic way. That is true wealth. And that is a fortune no one can ever take from you.